What happens when a common condiment joins the 1%? Hi, welcome to today's episode of In the Kitchen, Keeping It Real. I'm your host, Ariyele, and today we're making baked salmon with an herb-infused Dijon mustard sauce. Woo! That's my alternative on Swoon. As usual, I'm going to chat my face off, and you can follow the embedded directions in this video or click the link below to the website. Mustard is one of the few condiments for which there are many variations. There's yellow mustard, Dijon mustard, whole grain mustard, deli mustard, honey mustard, and I'm sure that I'm missing a few. I'm sure that I'm missing some. And I was led to believe from my father growing up that there was really only one kind of mustard, and that was deli mustard. You put your deli mustard on a hot dog, and you put your deli mustard on a pretzel, and that was that. Well, guess what? Dijon mustard is where it's at, and it's what we're doing today. In my little nut grinder, spice grinder, food processor, I've got some already chopped down fresh rosemary. I've got some already peeled off fresh thyme. That's my miming for how I get my thyme leaves off of my little branch. 2 cloves whole garlic. Some smooth Dijon with white wine. And some whole grain Dijon. This is key. A lot of times I'm going to tell you that what you do in here does not matter. You can substitute things and you can change it out. If you're going to do anything, go with the whole grain. This mustard sauce is going to work for you a lot. First, we're going to give it a little grind before we add some olive oil. The idea is we want to get our garlic chopped up, which it is, nice and chopped. Chunky, but that's going to bake off. Let me create some room here. Olive oil in there, that's going to add a little bit of more of a sauce consistency. Generous salt and pepper. This meal I first had with dear friends of mine who are now leaving the Bay. And I just was like, what's in this? And came home and made it immediately. And whenever I'm making salmon, this is my go-to. One of the things that's awesome about this dish is if you do it ahead of time on a Sunday, if you make this sauce, you keep it in the fridge, then you've had a long day, you're coming home maybe from your way from work, or if you're like me and you have like health issues, it's just easy to pick up 1 piece, 2 pieces of salmon, and boom, you have fresh food like that. It takes 10 minutes in the oven. Now, if you hear it and it's not really getting incorporated, you can just add some more olive oil. You really want it to be swirling. What will help as well is using a little mini spatula or spoon, getting it down in there and then giving it another grind. And you go until you get the consistency that you want. There we go. Perfect, I can see it. There we go. Perfect. And now I'm just gonna add a nice, thick layer on this to my wild salmon. Wild is so important, guys. You really want to get the good stuff. We want to avoid farmed fish. We want to make sure that we're keeping all those omega-3s and 6s intact, that you've got a healthy, wonderful, biologically sound piece of food going into your body and into your oven. This mustard sauce is going to crisp up in the oven. It's going to really complement the flavor of the salmon, of the fish. And it's like you want to be generous with it. There's almost a sweetness from the whole grain mustard. And since there's such a high side here, I'm going to put it on the side too. In the oven. Rule of thumb, 425, 10 minutes per inch of flesh. Look at that. It's gorgeous. It's baked off. And you can see, when you see that nice white appearance on the side. Salmons, you can do it however you like it. It can be more well done and flakier, or it can be moister and a little bit undercooked. That's not a problem. This is actually 2 pieces, but they were so skinny that I really just covered them. And I recommend to pair this dish with some sauteed green of any kind, steamed, sauteed, and I really gotta punch you up with this sweet potato. The sweet potato adds a balance to the tartness from and the bite of the mustard in a way that's just unbeatable. So it's a really phenomenal combination. And this fish is so much that I'm just gonna take one little piece of it. I'm gonna cut it in half. And now it's separating from the skin. You can expect that. In the kitchen, keeping it real, real messes. Oh, somebody is going to be a happy camper when she sits down to eat this dinner. And so fast, 10 minutes it takes to bake that off. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of In the Kitchen, Keeping It Real. I'm your host, Ariyele. We'll check you next Wednesdays on YouTube, inthekitchenkeepingitreal.com as well for explicit instructions and more ideas about this dish and many others. Ciao.